Welcome back, everybody. So today's going to be a little bit different of a video. As you could tell, we're looking at my Mac screen instead of looking at me, and that's because we're going to be going over how to write a postdoc cover letter. This was something that was requested in the comments section, and I thought this was a great choice for a video. So if you have any video ideas that you would like to see, make sure to leave a comment down below, and I think we could get to those. If you really like this type of video where we're going through things on a computer rather than just hearing me talk about something, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. It'll help the YouTube algorithm. We'll be able to get this video out to more people. It'll let me know that this is some kind of content that you really like to see. So in this video, we're going to be a pretend grad student named Jim, and we're going to be writing a cover letter to Dr. John Smith trying to get into their lab. Now, these are just made up people. They're fictitious. This has nothing to do with my personal experience, but let's go through these. And these are going to range from really bad to what I think is a pretty good cover letter. And I'm going to point out things that I think are good and bad about each of these. So with that, let's get into the first example, which says, "Hey, John, I just wanted to say I want to join your lab. Check out my CV and get back to me, LOL, Jim." Okay, right off the bat, this one should come off as a really bad one to anyone watching this, okay? First of all, you're not buddies with anyone that you're applying to be a postdoc in their lab, so it shouldn't be, "Hey, John." It should be "Dear," in this case, Dr. Smith, or "Dear Dr. whoever." If you are on a first name basis with anybody that you're applying to their lab, your cover letter is probably going to be a little bit different. So there were a couple of people actually in my day that I applied to their lab and actually was on a first name basis with them. One was on my committee for a graduate level grant, and I got to know her over a couple of years. And another was a PI that I met at a conference and hit it off, and we talked for quite a while, and he ended up doing some collaboration with the PI who was my thesis advisor, and I got to know him on a first name basis as well. And so those are a little bit different scenarios, but in general, what we're going to be assuming are these are people you really aren't on a first name basis. So using a first name really isn't appropriate. "I just wanted to say I want to join your lab." Okay, that's good. We should be, pointing out exactly what we're looking for. I think this sentence could be worded better, and this goes into some things we've talked about before with you need to always be proofreading your letters, your CV, all of that, personal statements. So it could be worded better, but overall it gets a point across. "Check out my CV and get back to me, LOL." We should be more professional than that. We shouldn't be using LOL. So with that, this is probably not a good one. Let's move on to some other examples that we have here. Example number 2. "Dear Dr. Smith." All right, so here we've already bumped it up a little bit. We're not just saying, "Hey, John." We're saying, "Dear Dr. Smith, I'm about to graduate from Harvard University with a 4.0 GPA. I've published one paper and I'm now looking for a postdoc position. Attached is my CV for you to assess my strengths. I look forward to hearing from you. Regards, Jim." All right, this is a much better one. So, of course, like I said, we start off with "Dear Dr. Smith, I am about to graduate from Harvard with a 4.0 GPA. Good. You're saying what you've been doing and that you have a good GPA. I've published one paper and I'm now looking for a postdoc position." Okay, so you've published something in grad school. That's good. "Attached is my CV for you to assess my strengths." Okay, it's good. You're letting them know that, my CV is attached. I hope that you think that it's good, and I look forward to hearing from you. Regards, Jim. Overall, this is a pretty decent start to a cover letter. I think the biggest thing that's missing from this is some level of specificity. So you say that you went to Harvard and you have a 4.0 GPA, which is good, but what did you study? What department in Harvard were you in? And it's not very specific in terms of the PI that you're trying to apply to their lab either. So this is something that you could just mass send out and just change out Dr. Smith for Dr. whoever. It doesn't really say anything about you in terms of you got to know this specific person and there's a reason that you want to join their lab. And in fact, when you see these kinds of cover letters, most of the PIs are going to assume that you're spam sending out CVs to every single PI that's listed under the sun. So you want to be able to tailor it to each specific person. That's something to keep in mind. Example number 3. Dear Dr. Smith, my name is Jim, and I am about to graduate from Harvard University's genetics department, and I'm now looking for a postdoc position. All right, so this is already better than the last one. We're saying, my name is Jim, so you're introducing yourself. You're saying that you're graduating from Harvard and from the genetics department, and you're starting to look for a postdoc position. Okay, this one's already much clearer and to the point as to, this is who I am. I'm graduating from this specific department, and I'm starting to look for a postdoc position. I think I would be a great fit for your lab since I had a 4.0 GPA and have published 1 paper. Okay, so you're saying that you think you would be a good fit for the lab. This is another step up in that you're saying like, hey, I think I would be a good fit for your lab. I think the one thing missing from this one is that, GPA isn't really going to be a good determinant of if you're going to be a good fit for their lab or not, but you're at least moving in the right direction here. Please find my CV, and I look forward to hearing from you. Okay, so overall, this one's a little bit better than the last one, and if your cover letter looked like this, you'd probably be in decent shape. It's not the best cover letter in the world. It's not going to blow anyone's socks off, but it's not bad, okay? What I think we're going to do now is go through the last example, which is one that I wrote. And of course, this is all fictitious. This isn't anything about what I studied at all, but I think this would be an example of a good cover letter and kind of what you should be striving for. Dear Dr. Smith, my name is Jim, and I am a senior graduate student at Harvard University's genetics department. I came across your impressive work on MAPK signaling when I was doing an extensive literature search for my dissertation on MAP kinase's role in colon cancer. Since then, I have read several papers from your laboratory, and I believe I could greatly benefit from pursuing postdoctoral research with you and advance my knowledge in cell signaling. I am dedicated to moving my career forward and would be a valuable asset to your lab since I have a unique perspective coming from an oncology background. Please find attached to my CV. I would greatly enjoy the opportunity to talk with you about my current research and learn more about the fascinating work coming out of your lab. I look forward to hearing from you. Regards, Jim. Okay, so this is basically the gold standard of what we should be going for. Now, I'm sure there's 1,000 different ways that we could come up with different scenarios in terms of like what a good cover letter would look for. So in this particular instance, I used it where, Jim came across Dr. Smith when he was reading through literature. He was doing a literature search, but it could have just as easily been, I heard you at a conference and thought that your talk was so interesting. I went back and read more of your literature and, it blew my mind. Or I'm looking to join in this field and I know that you're the leading researcher in this field, and so I've read through your papers and I thought that the research was great. It could be a bunch of different things, but let's talk about what I think makes this particular cover letter really stand out and works really well. My name is Jim, and I'm a senior graduate student at Harvard's genetics department. Okay, I came across your impressive work on MAPK signaling when I was doing an extensive literature search for my dissertation on MAP kinase's role in colon cancer. So right here, what you're doing is you're saying, okay, I'm studying colon cancer. I understand that you do MAPK signaling. And when I was doing a literature search for my dissertation, I came across your work. So what you've established is that you've read some of his work, that you yourself are familiar with MAP kinase, which is what he works on, and you've established what you do research on, which is colon cancer. Since then, I have read several papers from your laboratory, and I believe I could greatly benefit from pursuing postdoctoral research with you and advancing my knowledge in cell signaling, right? So MAP kinase is involved in cell signaling, and what you're saying is that you think by going to his lab, you can further your knowledge in cell signaling. Now, this is really important. When you're finishing graduate school, you got to remember that you're kind of like at the bottom, right? Graduate school is the bottom. You're not at the top. And so what you're doing is you're setting yourself up saying that I understand I have more to learn. And what I think is in my career direction, I want to learn more in this particular area. And I think training in this particular area, in this case, it's cell signaling, is really going to boost my chances of success later on. I'm dedicated to moving my career forward and would be a valuable asset to your lab since I have a unique perspective coming from an oncology background. Now, this is something that could be fleshed out in real life if there was something. So let's pretend in this scenario that Dr. Smith has nobody in his lab that has an oncology background. Well, MAP kinase is important in oncology, and so because I have this oncology background, I could bring some unique perspective to your lab. So it's not just that, you are going to be training me and I get all the benefit. Okay, I could bring new techniques and ideas to your lab, which could enhance the research coming out of your lab. Please find attached my CV. I would greatly enjoy the opportunity to talk to you about my current research and learn more about the fascinating research coming out of your lab. Okay, so this is really good. It's basically setting yourself up. Again, it's not just, oh, I'm going to wait for you. It's, hey, let's talk. I want to learn more about the research you do, and I think you, on the other hand, would like to learn about the research I do. Okay? I look forward to hearing from you. Even just this little exclamation mark here just kind of shows enthusiasm. Okay? It's really important to try to come across as enthusiastic. Regards, Jim. So I think this is the gold standard of what we should be shooting for. And again, there's probably ways that we could make this even better. But I think that this is, really gets across the key points that we're being professional in our writing, that we're acknowledging how we know this particular individual. So it's not just spam emailing to everybody, that we understand that we have things that we could learn and that we want to learn those things in this person's particular lab. They like the idea of being able to mold your mind. So leave that out there, that you think that you have value that you could bring to their lab, that it's not just, you receiving the training, that techniques or some kind of computer programming or whatever it is that you think you could be bringing to that individual's lab that's going to actually benefit them. Okay? And that you're really excited to talk more about research, not just the research they're doing, but about your research. Hey, I'm doing cool research and I really want to share that with you. I think you're going to find it exciting. All right. This is exactly what I think needs to be done in a cover letter. And I think that if I was a PI and I received a cover letter like this, I would definitely be opening up their CV and taking a look at what they have. Okay. If you're getting some of these other cover letters, maybe it's a coin flip, depends on the day. But something like this, yeah, I know this person's really honestly interested in joining my lab, and I don't have to worry about, are they just spamming every PI out there? So, guys, with that, we're going to wrap it up because it's already starting to become a long video. If you like this type of video, again, make sure to like so I understand that this is the kind of content that you want to see. I'd be happy to do things like going over presentations or posters or something like that, Illustrator, whatever it is. But this is a different kind of video. I thought we'd give it a try. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye and I'll catch you guys in the next one.